Shout out to these fans for coming up with the idea to this video. If you have any cool ideas for a future video, let me know in the comments below. I may just give you a shout out.
3, 2, 1.
What's up, my Net Soldiers? I'm Net Alliance, and today we're asked the question, what if Obi-Wan Kenobi joined Count Dooku on Geonosis in episode 2? But before we begin, make sure to join the notification squad by clicking the little bell button beneath this video. It'll notify you every time I upload a new video, so you can get my videos first, which is cool because I answer every single comment within the first hour of the video being posted. So, good luck. But without further ado, let's begin. So right away, I'm just going to say this, I don't think Obi-Wan would ever truly join Dooku. He may join him as a spy, maybe, but I honestly couldn't see them actually being legit allies. However, just for the sake of story, what if Obi-Wan actually did decide to join Dooku? Like perhaps he joined him in honor of his former master Qui-Gon, or maybe he honestly believed in the Count's cause. Either way, when Dooku is chatting to the captured Kenobi, he begs the Jedi to join him, and Obi-Wan accepts the offer. So with that said, what would happen next? Let's explore. Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala were led into the massive Geonosian arena by chariot. They reached the center of the humongous battlefield and stepped off the chariot. The crowd grew silent as Dooku took the main podium on the balcony. Senator Amidala, Anakin Skywalker, I'm glad you could join us, Dooku said. You won't get away with this, Dooku, Skywalker claimed. Actually, my boy, I already have, Dooku claimed, throwing Kenobi's saber to the arena below, using the Force to have it land right at Anakin's feet. Anakin saw the lightsaber, then looked at Dooku. Where is he? The Count smiled. He has decided to take another path. One more civilized. Skywalker assumed Dooku meant that Obi-Wan was no longer on the path of life. And if you're no longer on the path of life, that means you're on the path of death, which of course would mean Obi-Wan was killed. Anakin's anger began to boil as he used the Force to pull Kenobi's lightsaber to his hand, igniting the blade, separating his and Padme's cuffs from their wrists. He then turned to face Dooku again. Come down here and fight me, you coward. Dooku began to chuckle. As much as I would like to teach you a lesson, boy, I have other plans for you, but the Senator, she must die today. The Count's words just added more fuel to the fire burning inside Skywalker's soul. He looked into Padme's eyes. She was always strong-willed, but today, he saw only fear in her eyes. Anakin loved her. He always loved her, and he could not let anything happen to her. Anakin stood in the battle-ready stance. If you want her, you'll have to go through me first. Dooku smiled once more. Well, if you insist. The Count signaled to the gate guards to open the gate. The massive door opened, revealing a lone figure. The figure stepped out into the light of the sun. He wore black robes and a mask. Anakin studied the challenger for a second. There was something about him, something familiar. The man wielded a red lightsaber as he stood 20 feet away from Anakin and Padme. Stay behind me, Anakin commanded to Padme. She nodded back, accepting Anakin's command. Dooku gave the order, and the battle began. It was clear the assassin knew what he was doing, but the fight for Anakin was no mere battle. This fight relied on everything. If Anakin lost, he would more than likely die, and even worse, Padme's life would be forfeit as well. The assassin may have more skill than Anakin, but Skywalker's drive and love for Padme is giving him the strength to fight on. The battle continued for some time, but eventually Anakin managed to strike the enemy's helmet, sending it flying off the assassin's head. It was then Skywalker learned a terrible truth. He looked to the face of his attacker. He couldn't believe his eyes. It was Obi-Wan. Master? Anakin said with confusion. You're alive? Obi-Wan looked at his former pupil. He almost felt ashamed for what he was doing, but it did not matter. Dooku was right. Padme needed to die, for if she did not, the Republic would enter a war that they could not recover from. Anakin, Obi-Wan said with despair on his face, please move aside. There are bigger things happening here than you believe. Now, since there is no immediate threat, the rest of the Jedi, like Windu and the others, do not jump into action, and they actually wait for Yoda and the clones to arrive. So eventually Anakin and Obi-Wan would begin to duel again, but their battle would be interrupted by the Jedi and the clones. A transport ship landed only a few feet away from Anakin and Padme. Skywalker used the Force to push Kenobi a few yards away, and he and Padme hopped on the transport. As Obi-Wan got back to his feet, he looked around the arena. He saw clones and droids battling it out. And it was then he realized he couldn't stop this war from happening, for the war had already begun, and he has now chosen his side. As Anakin's shuttle was taking off, a super battle droid aimed his wrist cannon at the transport. Obi-Wan knew that the blast could destroy the shuttle, perhaps even kill Anakin. Obi-Wan leaped into action, destroying the droid. Then, looking toward the confused Anakin, he nodded to Skywalker in a show of solidarity as the shuttle took off. So this is where the Clone Wars would begin, with Obi-Wan joining the side of the Separatists. Now, to be honest, I don't know how long he would actually stay aligned with Dooku, because if you know your Clone Wars lore, or you watch the Clone Wars TV show, or the books, or the comic books, or all that stuff, you would know Dooku slowly becomes more evil as time goes on. And honestly, I couldn't really see Obi-Wan being okay with that. Also, I couldn't really see him being friends with Jango Fett or even Grievous. Still, I think he would learn all he could from Dooku. Because do not forget, Dooku was like a father to Qui-Gon, who was like a father to Obi-Wan, so essentially, Dooku is like Kenobi's grandfather. So there is still that elderly respect Obi-Wan would have for him. In fact, maybe if Obi-Wan played his cards right, he may actually be able to turn Dooku back to the light. However, I understand that's kind of a long stretch, but then again, this entire theory is kind of a long stretch. But of course, that's just my opinion. What is your opinion on this? Do you think Obi-Wan would legit join Dooku, like perhaps even become one of his dark acolytes? Or do you think he would just act as a Jedi spy? Or maybe he could actually bring Dooku back to the light? Whatever the case, let me know in the comments below. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share for more videos. And until next time guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.